Hi, everyone. Welcome to Financial Insights. I'm Linda, your accounting coach. So, we are back to school this week and we are discussing 5 things nonprofits should know. So, today is day 3 and we are discussing how to manage grants. So, I want to give you a couple tips on things that I've learned on how to manage grants for nonprofits. Number one, use software. We talked about that yesterday. So, whether that's using your accounting software, your CRM, your donor database, use your accounting, use software. And what I mean by that, this is where you enter in the grant information. You're entering in the funder's name, the address, notes such as when is the start and end date of the grant, the award amount, when are reports due? Very important. When are reports due? So these are the things that you can run a report. Hopefully, you can run a report in your from that database and say, okay, what do I need to do to manage that grant once it's awarded? You can even also upload your award letter. So very important to keep that documentation because if you're going to go through an audit, the auditors are going to ask for that award letter, that grant agreement. So you want to use technology to your benefit to have all that information in one spot. Then, number two, you want to ensure your whole team is involved. I've seen many times where the finance, they don't know that a grant has been awarded. They don't know when reports are due. They don't know that they should be coding certain things to a particular grant. Then we have the on the programming side, they don't understand the budget for a particular grant because no one has notified them. So you want to make sure you have quarterly grant reviews. This is where you invite all the different team members, including the accounting team, the programming team, even the admin. You want fund development. You want everyone in the same room going through the list of grants, making sure that everyone is on the same page. Everyone knows what grants are currently active, what grants are currently closed, what expenses each grant covers. Very important, particularly on the accounting side. I've seen this many times where the accounting department, they do not either know or do not quite understand that grant budget. So they end up coding things to the general fund. And then what happens when that grant report is due? You can't run a grant report because everything is tied to the general fund. And then everyone has to go through all the general ledger and say, oh, this goes to this grant, that grant. You don't have to do that. If everyone is on the same page and you're having quarterly grant reviews, very helpful. Everyone's on the same page and you can quickly get those reports done. Then number three, we talked about this previously, have a tracker, some type of tool where you're tracking these grants. Then number four, really important because this ties back to cash. As you know, I'm talking about cash these last 2 weeks. Cash, very important. For grants, you want to understand when that grant is awarded, is it a reimbursable grant, which means the nonprofit has to pay the expenses up front, then request a reimbursement. That money is then sent to the nonprofit. Or is it a grant where the funds are sent to you? Or is it a grant where it's split, where they give you so much in the beginning and then in the middle of the grant, they give you another half? You want to understand that because that affects your cash flow. You want to make sure you're managing those expenses because sometimes I've seen with nonprofits, they end up having to cover expenses because they're having to wait for that the grant funding. So you want to make sure you're monitoring that cash, understanding the timing of the grants. Once again, is it reimbursable or is it upfront? So, homework this week, as I said before, create your own grant tracking tool. It is very important you have some tool where you're tracking the grants. So, not only just the start, end date, amount, the remaining balance for each grant. Very important. You want to track what is the remaining balance. So it's if 10,000 is deposited into the bank, and you record that to that particular grant, you should be able to run in your accounting software a grant report that says 10,000 received and then all of the expenses that are going out, and it should show what is remaining. Very important when you're managing grants, because you want to make sure you're covering those expenses and then you don't have any money left over. So make sure you're doing that, tracking your grants, utilizing technology, but also relying on your team members. Hopefully you are enjoying this information. Make sure you like, comment, and share with another nonprofit leader. As we know, everyone needs this information. So hope make sure you share it, and we'll see you tomorrow for number 4, what nonprofits leaders should know. Take care.